Dude, I meant to tell you this too. Your mouth sounds were insane that episode.
Really?
I'm mixing like, drink more water. Hey, I'm Blake.
And I'm Dave.
And this is the YA Movies episode of First Prize Films, a pandering podcast where we each select a genre-specific movie and pit them against each other to find out which film wins the coveted title of First Prize. Dave, what does that mean?
Yeah, so it's like talking in a movie theater.
Yeah?
Everyone's annoyed.
Don't do it!
Today we are coming of age and becoming the hero with these YA films.
Oh, God. We are, Dave. I made you watch 2012's The Hunger Games, a movie that showed me that the odds were never in my favor, and now I'm in my 30s hosting a podcast. Kill me.
Yeah. And Blake, I made you watch Divergent, a movie about preventing an overthrow of the government and the annihilation of a whole group of people by thinking outside the box.
The Taco Bell story. If you're watching this on YouTube right now, feel free to subscribe, and if you enjoy the show, a thumbs up could actually save your life, Dave.
Yes, as well as a comment affirming that I am smart and Blake is the outside thinker.
This is legal advice.
And if you prefer audio, because who would blame you, check us out wherever you get your podcasts.
But hopping into this, Dave,
Yeah.
Were you ever like a YA novel person?
Novel? Do you think I read things?
Good point. Dave, have you ever heard of, do you know what a YA novel is?
Yeah, novels, right?
Yep, that's it. Anyway, for anybody who doesn't know, Dave, I'm not singling you out here. YA meaning young adults.
Yes.
You know, this is a really popular genre, you know, in like the mid to late 2000s. It like
True.
came out into the mainstream
Right.
through movies like Twilight and stuff like that. I was going to ask if you've ever read any of like the Hunger Games books. They were very popular. Obviously the Divergent stuff was popular. Twilight, what was it, like the Maze Runner stuff? There's this whole fandom.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
With all these books. Mm-hmm. They're a little after our time, I think, popularity-wise.
Just a skosh, I think.
I was given the first Twilight book when I was in high school by this girl.
Boy.
She's like, dude, you got to read this. And I didn't know what it was. I didn't know anything about it. And I got maybe 20 pages into it before she was like, hey, do you still have that book? I want it back. And I was like, okay. I didn't like have any problems with it, but she took it back and I never read Twilight. So sorry.
Yeah. No,
I tried.
I never read any of the Twilights. I never read any of the book versions of these movie adaptations. Mm-hmm. I know a lot of people that were really into Twilight. I was forced to watch a few of the Twilight movies.
Yeah.
And
my marriage ended because the Twilight movies didn't go well for me.
Yeah,
I'm just saying.
We don't talk about
We don't talk about that. But we should do a Twilight episode next season.
Fine.
We should. Stay tuned for that fucking nightmare. But these movies were very popular culturally.
Oh, yeah.
You know?
I mean, so much so that I loved and I owned physical copies of all of the Hunger Games movies.
Really?
Yes, I did. I really liked them. And I used to have my text tone, I think it was the Hunger Games whistle.
Fuck off, really?
Yeah, for a while.
That's funny.
Yeah,
That's
I thought it was
kinda
really
cool.
good.
Nice.
Yeah, and then they decided, hey, you know this series that's been dead for like, I don't know, 5-6 years? Let's revive it. And I was like, fuck you, I'm not watching any of that.
That came out this year, right? It's like the Hunger Games, the
Prequel?
Song of Snakes on a Plane. What's that? What's it called?
Good job not having to Google that.
No problem. It's all up here, baby. All up in the noggin.
It tracks.
But I did like the Hunger Games. I've never seen Divergent until this episode, so
Yeah?
I'm excited to dive in. The Hunger Games spawned a lot of these fucking kinds of movies. So
Sure did. Yeah.
we're gonna get into it though.
Let's shoot our way or fight our way into it, or
I'm poor.
you fit right in, dude.
Movie 1, The Hunger Games, 2012.
All right, Blake, it is time to abate our hunger. Yeah, anyway, give me the synopsis for The Hunger Games 2012.
As a tribute in the 74th Annual Hunger Games, a dusty poor girl named Katniss Everdeen will perform daring feats to survive being killed. watch her climb trees, hallucinate, not eat berries, and finally kiss a desperate weirdo. It's nonstop action that I wish would stop already.
Desperate weirdo. I didn't know you were in this movie.
Shut up.
First, it was a reminder of the rebellion. It was a price the districts had to pay. But I think it has grown from that. I think it's something that knits us all together.
We open to a little lore about the world we're inhabiting. Dave, we're in a nation called Panem, which is split into 12 districts. If you're in District 1, that means you're fucking rich and awesome. Like Bill Gates riding a T-Rex to vaccinate Mozambique or something. You're fucking cool. And everybody likes you.
Yes,
No
everyone.
problems there. But
None.
conversely, if you're from District 12, you're like us, poor and smelly.
Yes, mainly smelly.
I relate to this. But as punishment for a failed revolt, the government has set up something called the Hunger Games, where one boy and one girl are chosen from each district to fight to the death. And like our current reality, everything's televised.
Yeah, I mean, of course it is. Why wouldn't it be? Also, I think it's really, I don't know how great of an idea it is to punish people by making them kill themselves.
This sounds cool to me.
All right.
But this whole thing is kind of like American Gladiators, but you can die, and it's like also nothing like American Gladiators.
It's like someone took the concept of American Gladiator and was like, let's make them kill each other instead.
Let's make this class warfare, and everybody dies at the end. Now we're in the slums known as District 12, where we meet our main character, Katniss Everdeen, played by Jennifer Lawrence.
Yes.
Her defining traits so far are being a teenager and also being good at bow and arrows.
And also walking through the woods.
Do you see that? Have you ever tried archery, by the way?
No, but I did have an assembly in high school where there was some archers there who bragged about how hard it is to do it. Like, even bodybuilders can't do it.
It is hard, dude. It's hard. The judge who ruled against me in that manslaughter trial would agree. Let's move on.
Now, the time has come for us to select one courageous young man and woman for the honor of representing District 12 in the 74th Annual Hunger Games. Primrose Everdeen.
So Katniss Everdeen's little sister, Primrose, is chosen to represent District 12 in the Hunger Games. This little girl might die if the wind blows too hard, so Katniss, she's got to do something about this.
Yes, she's going to assassinate someone.
She's conjuring the ghost of Lee Harvey Oswald.
I volunteer! I volunteer as tribute!
Katniss steps up and volunteers as tribute to compete in the Hunger Games and save her sister.
Jesus.
That's courageous.
Yes.
It sounds terrible there.
Would you do that for Jordan?
No, fuck that guy. Hell no. I'd be like, sucks to suck. More food for me, dog. Bye. She's paired up with Peeta Mellark, played by Josh Hutcherson, who wears an expression like he shit his pants and now he's got to do 100 jumping jacks. He looks freaked out.
Yes, which is your resting face.
It's just a lot of poop going on down there. So these two tributes, they get whisked away on a bullet train towards the Capitol by their flamboyant chaperone Effie, played by Elizabeth Banks, as well as their mentor, a man named Haymitch, the only Hunger Games survivor from District 12. He's played by Woody Harrelson.
To be clear, his name is not Mitch. It's Haymitch.
Hey, Mitch. Very confusing when he's out on the beach.
Yes.
So when do we start?
Oh, so eager.
Yeah, I want to know what the plan is. You're our mentor. You're supposed to tell us how to get sponsors and give us advice.
Embrace the probability of your imminent death.
So Haymitch is a cynical drunk, and worst of all, they have Woody Harrelson dressed up like an age 50 Justin Bieber on a meth binge. He
really
looks fucked up, dude.
Yeah, he does not look like a mentor. That's for sure.
But since all this is televised, once they get to the Capitol, there's an opening ceremony to introduce the nation to the tributes. This thing's pretty wild.
Yeah, and I think my favorite part is when we have to get dressed up for the press conference, which is pre-murder games.
Yeah, we'll get to it.
There they are, this year's tributes. Oh, the most exciting part. Two young people holding their hands up, saying, I'm proud I come from District 12. We will not be overlooked.
Katniss and Peeta get their grand introduction to the nation where they catch on fire. but like in a cool way. Like their costumes catch on fire. It's cool.
Yeah, I mean, it's a bit gaudy, but sure.
Well, actually, I was thinking about this too. The opening ceremonies for the Hunger Games, it's like if like RuPaul's Drag Race was filtered through Mad Max and then like rewrapped as the Olympics. It's fucking cool.
Yes, it's.
I'm here for it.
I think it's what AI would come up with if you told it to combine those three things.
Type in fancy Olympics and you just get the Hunger Games. I love this.
Fantastic.
Anyway, they have to get to a little bit of training before the games actually begin.
Thank God.
In 2 weeks, 23 of you will be dead. 1 of you will be alive. My advice is, don't ignore the survival skills. Everybody wants to grab a sword, but most of you will die from natural causes.
So, say you get chosen for the Hunger Games. Dave, what's your strategy? Are you trying to like play the survival game, or are you trying to go and like fuck people up straight away?
I would like to think that I would be the kind of person that would have a plan.
Yeah.
And like would do something smart. Mm-hmm. But I think I'm more of the person who would grab a bag and ends up just being a bunch of rope.
You're the rope guy.
I'm the rope guy. Not on purpose, though.
I feel that. I feel like with me, like, I mean, I'd be forced to try survival because look at me.
Yeah.
But I don't know what I'm doing at the end of the day. Like, I have no idea what I'm doing. I'd go out with the worst case of dysentery in Hunger Games history.
Yeah, it's true. You would definitely blow your face out of your own asshole.
Blake Hawk died of violent diarrhea on the battlefield. Like a Confederate soldier up in this bitch.
Yep, basically.
Anyway, eschewing the diarrhea dilemma here, the tributes do get a chance to impress some wealthy assholes in hopes of sponsorships, meaning the rich people can send you like items and gifts during the game to help you out. When Katniss gets up, everyone is ignoring her, even though she's like got her bow and arrow. She's ready to impress.
Yeah, they don't care at all. And she's like, you know what? Check this out.
Thank you for your consideration.
Katniss just shoots an arrow up into the rich people section and pierces an apple in the mouth of a cooked pig, which, like, metaphors much?
I mean,
this is great.
It's beautiful. It's so beautiful. Her fucking bow is so badass.
It is so... I love this part. I was like, man, I am on her side. Hands down, dude.
Damn straight.
And she has all of their attention now, which is just in time for the games to begin.
Yeah, let's get to the murder!
Yay! For the audio-only listeners, that was the sound of the Hunger Games beginning. It's like a whole montage with no like natural sound in it, so
yeah,
that's why that's confusing. But here's what happens. Everybody pops out of the ground like it's human whack-a-mole, and they take off towards a huge cornucopia of supplies.
Yes.
Of course, the strong rich kids who eat more than dirt at most meals start killing the tributes who rush for the supplies. But Katniss, she waits until she sees a supply backpack so she can just grab it and escape. She avoids a knife attack and just skitters into the woods before falling down a hill like Chris Farley.
Which is what would actually happen to you.
I wouldn't even try to get supplies. I'm like, fuck this. I'm out of here. And immediately fall down the biggest fucking hill in this entire game.
100%.
Yeah, but per our conversation earlier, Katniss is taking the survival route. She doesn't want to kill anybody, so she's going to hide in the woods until this whole thing just blows over.
Yeah, why not? I mean, that's how you win, right?
It's a matter of time.
She is almost at the edge, 2 kilometers away from the nearest tribune.
Let's turn her around.
Unfortunately for that survival plan, the puppeteers running the game decide that Katniss waiting it out is boring. So they decide to give her a little motivation in the form of molten forestry.
The best kind of forestry.
Everything around Katniss goes up in flames, so she's got to run to safety, and guess who she runs it to?
Oh, hey, Mitch?
That's the dumbest answer you could have given me.
Great.
He's not in the game. It's the rich district kids and Lois's husband, Peeta.
Peter!
That was terrible.
No, we're keeping it.
Got her!
Owe me 700.
That's not gonna help you up there, Katniss.
So like a scared cat, Katniss scales the tree from the murderous Cabbage Patch Kids all hanging out below her. And honestly, shit's looking pretty bleak, you know? She's surrounded. She has a horrible burn from that whole fire thing she was just a part of. And night is falling.
Oh, no.
Duck, Luckily for Katniss, a few things happen here.
Yeah.
First, a sponsor sends Katniss some magical burn ointment that heals her sticky-looking wounds. Then in the morning, another tribute who actually likes Katniss points out a huge tracker jacket hive above her. And I'm sure you can kind of see where this is all going.
Tracker jackers are genetically engineered wasps whose venom causes searing pain, powerful hallucinations, and, in extreme cases, death.
So Katniss, being fucking savage, cuts down the tracker jacket hive and it drops on the rich kids trying to kill her. One of them dies, which gave me a PTSD flashback to the movie My Girl.
Yeah.
But like the commentators say, a sting by these things can cause hallucinations, and Katniss got stung.
Uh-oh.
I didn't have horrifying trip sequence on my YA bingo card, but let's fucking go!
Oh, it's definitely down your alley, for sure. Up your alley?
I'm high right now. After stealing a bow and arrow from the squishy corpse of a stung tribute, Katniss sleeps off what I assume was a brutal hallucinogenic come down. Like,
I mean,
oh my god, that's terrible. But a day later, she wakes up to discover she'd been helped by a young tribute named Rue, the same one who was up in the tree, you know?
Yeah, she got Rue skewed.
Precisely, Dave. And you know what their first mission is?
Dream?
Supply, what?
Huh?
Supply line sabotage.
Yay! Sabotage.
Rue distracts the rich kids, and Katniss blows up their mountain of supplies with a well-shot arrow at some apples. Eat your heart out, William Tell, you folktale bitch.
He can't. He was blown up by a mine.
Oh, sucks to suck. But not everything can be sunshine and apple cores, Dave. There's some hard truths we gotta deal with. The latest one being Rue's death. She's impaled by one of the rich kids and dies in Katniss's arms, which is objectively sad as fuck.
Yeah, it was. That I was pretty bummed about that.
Truly, Katniss, like, sings to her as she dies and then covers her with flowers, which, needless to say, is an act of outstanding dopeness, but there's a catch. The president of Panem doesn't like this camaraderie between districts, so he decides to change the rules up like a 7-year-old playing Monopoly. Little baby.
Bitch.
Attention, tributes, attention. The regulations requiring a single victor have been suspended. From now on, 2 victors may be crowned if both originate from the same district.
So despite the other District 12 tribute, PETA, trying to kill Katniss earlier, that whole thing, she has to find him so they can team up and fight together and hopefully survive. The lesser of 100 evils, I guess. This thing is terrible. It's like a fucked up version. What's that TV show? Big Brother.
Oh, yeah.
You know? But, like, it actually might just be Big Brother with less booze. You know?
Yeah, probably.
It sounds terrible. I wouldn't watch this.
No, I don't even want to watch this.
This is making me sad.
Well, move on.
We're in the shit right now, but we're moving out because Katniss finds a banged up PETA, and they're cool again. She just needs to get him patched up, and do you know what the easiest way to fix somebody is?
Band-Aid?
A little sexual healing.
Oh.
Katniss plays up a romance with PETA to win over the audiences watching, and now she's getting a chance to get him some real medicine so he doesn't, just die in a cave like a sad weirdo.
Yeah, she gives him soup.
There will be a feast tomorrow at the cornucopia. Each of you needs something desperately.
Your medicine.
You're not going alone.
Yeah, you need it, and you can't walk.
So at the cornucopia, where the games began, there's a bag for each one of the districts who are, left in the game, right?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Problem is, you have to go out in the open to get it. And if I've learned anything about life, is the more you're seen, the more dangerous it really is.
Yes, that's why you never leave your apartment.
It's true. Mom, if you're listening, please send food. I'm starving to death in here.
Yeah, the Uber drivers won't come there anymore.
I've been eating my cat's food for weeks. Anyway, Katniss goes for her District 12 bag, but she gets wrecked.
Fucking donked on, dude.
No, it's too bad that you couldn't help your little friend. What was her name again? Rue. We killed her. And now, we're gonna kill you.
Just this time, 12. For Rue.
District 11 to the rescue, dude.
Fuck.
Because Katniss was so good to Rue and so, nice with her corpse, I guess. Yeah. The other tribute from District 11 saves her and lets her go with the medicine for PETA. I guess it pays to not be a total sack of shit sometimes, huh?
Yeah, my only question is, how did he know that?
Because he is also watching on his telephone. He's watching the game. It's like people who go to football games and listen to it on the radio.
Oh, yeah,
Same
that's exactly
concept.
Yeah, you're right.
For sure. Shut up, Dave. Anyway, Katniss gets PETA his meds, and he wakes up in the morning totally healed and ready to whoop some ass.
Oh, of course he does.
And by that, I mean pick some berries.
That's Nightlock, PETA! You'll be dead in a minute!
I didn't know.
You scare me to death.
So to be clear, PETA sucks at being a friend, being a lover, and foraging for food that isn't poisonous.
Yes, he is about as useful as either one of us.
Dude, Katniss is basically his babysitter at this point. PETA would be snorting ants and pissing his own pants if it wasn't for her. The kid is fucking helpless. It's so frustrating.
Oh, well.
But now there's only 4 tributes left in the entire game, and the people running the games want to wrap this up as badly as I do, so they decide to unleash a GMO monster on the tributes.
Yes, Bearline dogs.
Yeah, what is this thing?
It looks like a bear head with, lion body and dog tail.
I fucking hate it. Remember the movie Poor Things? It should have come from that.
Yeah, I bet you it did.
The monster kills one of them, and now the remaining 3, Katniss, PETA, and a rich asshole named Cato, are trapped on top of the cornucopia. They fight until Katniss and PETA alley-oop Cato into the mouth of the beast.
Yep, they outsmarted the big dumb idiot.
This is kind of brutal, too. He's like,
gnarly,
kill me, or whatever he says. I was like, ugh. And fuck that guy. Honestly,
fuck that guy.
I get that the film does try to add a little nuance to Cato's brutality, which I appreciate, to be clear.
Sure.
But at the end of the day, I'm glad he's dead.
Yeah, honestly, he's rich and he did get eaten, so I support it.
Yeah, natural order of things. The circle of life. But that's it, right? Katniss and PETA are the only ones left, so they win the Hunger Games.
Yes, because they did the 2 people can win thing, right?
Yeah, they did. Thank you. Exactly. It's exactly how it works. No problems.
Attention, tributes. The previous revision, allowing for 2 victors from the same district, has been revoked. Good luck, and may the odds be ever in your favor.
Dude, not cool. I'm invested at this point. In the dirtiest move the government has pulled in a mere hour or so, the rules have changed again, and now Katniss and PETA are being forced to kill one another to crown themselves winner of the Hunger Games.
Dumb.
Unfortunately for the government, Katniss has a get-out-of-murder-free card up her sleeve in the form of some surprisingly unsquished berries.
Yeah, why aren't they squished?
I was thinking about that the whole time. They look nice still. But what I mean by that is that the 2 decide to kill themselves with the poisonous Nightlock berries as a fuck you to the Hunger Games when this happens.
1, 2, 3.
Stop! Ladies and gentlemen, may I present the winners of the 74th Annual Hunger Games.
Take that, government.
Fuck yeah.
Love conquers all, or something.
Take that, you rich fucks.
The government stops Katniss and PETA from killing themselves, and they're both crowned winners of the Hunger Games. 74th Hunger Games, baby.
They said, I see your rules, and raised you a big middle finger.
I love this. It's such a perfect act of defiance that really fits in, and I really do like this ending a lot. And to be clear, this isn't like the ending necessarily. There's some more world-building stuff here, which doesn't matter to our immediate narrative, but there's 7 more movies or whatever, so go fucking watch those if you want. Get off my back. Roll the credits, Dave.
Leave us alone, goddammit.
That was the Hunger Games.
Hunger Games.
This movie held up way better than I anticipated it would.
It really did, dude. I was a little worried, to be honest with you.
It's way less goofy than I initially remembered it being. I don't know why I had that in my head, but I only seen it once when it came to home video in 2012 or whatever.
Yeah.
So I remember like being fine with it, but I think I enjoy it more now than I did back then.
Yeah, that makes sense. I can see why that'd be the case for you for sure. I enjoyed it just as much.
Yeah.
In fact, it made me want to watch the rest of them again.
Oh, really?
Yeah, definitely.
I saw the second one in theaters, but I don't think I've seen anything past that.
You should. I think the rest of them are pretty good.
Noted. Big recommend from Dave. Thanks. I'll add it to my list.
Yes, your never-ending list.
It's so long.
Yeah, so I really liked it, and I think because of how much I liked it, I was very excited to watch the Divergent series when it came out, too.
Yeah.
So let's just get into that then.
Yeah, the Hunger Games, as we said, spawned a lot of these adaptations, and I was here for Divergent. I think the concept sounded really fucking cool, so I was stoked to see it, and now I'm stoked to get into it with you, Dave, as my leader.
Yes, you're gonna regret that.
I have, since I woke up this morning. Let's talk about Divergent.
Movie 2, Divergent, 2014.
All right, Dave.
Yeah.
I need you to give me the synopsis for 2014's Divergent.
After the world plunges itself into a post-war darkness, only one city survives. Fucking Chicago. After living in harmony with their 5 factions for years, one woman decides she wants to control everything. And who is going to stop her? A meek teenager whose superpower is thinking differently. Or something.
Set up for success.
So we open to some voiceover telling us about a war where only Chicago survived and how now everyone in the city is separated into 5 factions to keep peace inside of this massive fence. To which I say, about time, Chicago is scary.
Wall them all off.
Trust the test. Test will tell me who I am.
So after we meet our main character, Beatrice, played by Shailene Woodley, and her brother Caleb, who I'm not going to mention that actor, we learn that apparently when people reach a certain age, they take a test to determine which of the 5 factions to be a part of, which I'm told is like a bar mitzvah, but instead of money, you get drugs.
Yay! It's like the SAT where if you fail it, you're fucked for the rest of your life.
Basically.
What is it? Bottoms up.
So so this test requires drugs to make you hallucinate, which sounds like a test you'd love, Blake.
All my tests require drugs. Go on.
So because this test makes you hallucinate, that's how you decide your future or something. I don't know. That's how you did it, right?
Don't follow in my footsteps.
You're going to tell your family that the serum made you sick and that I sent you home, all right?
No, but what was my result?
Your results were inconclusive.
So Beatrice managed to fail a test of the subconscious, which sounds like something I would do.
Yeah.
And anyway, they called this inconclusive test being Divergent. And the test lady tells Beatrice when she does decide to just, trust yourself and, I don't know, do whatever.
I do find this interesting because it's like a test you theoretically can't fail, and Beatrice still fucking fails it. And the test lady is like, listen, don't ever tell anybody what happened here. Just so make some shit up and stick with it. This is so embarrassing for you.
Oh, my God.
When we leave this room, you will no longer be dependents, but full-fledged members of our society.
Now, it's the next day, and we're at the choosing ceremony, which is not a trip to Target, but is instead where a bunch of kids decide what faction they want to be in by putting their name in a hat. No, sorry. They cut their fucking hands and bleed into a bowl.
Dude, someone's getting hepatitis from this so fucking quick. That's how they keep their population down.
God. Also, we meet our villain, Janine, which, villainy is the only career path you can have with a name like Janine.
Dun, 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 dun. It's me, Janine.
Caleb Pryor. Erudite. Beatrice Pryor. Dauntless.
Caleb and Beatrice, who were both a part of the abnegation faction or the hippie faction, have decided to leave their families and faction for other factions.
Yeah.
And Beatrice chooses the parkour faction, who are also the police/soldiers. Now, you think I'm kidding, but no. She has to climb a train bridge and then run and jump onto the fucking moving train.
Dude, literally, the faction is called Dauntless, and she chooses Dauntless. The ceremony's over, and like, all right, all you new recruits at Dauntless, parkour! And they take off, and everybody's like, what? Why did you choose this faction? You could have chosen anything.
Yeah, this is definitely not the Blake faction, that's for sure.
And it's not the Beatrice faction, too, because she's just like this meek, tiny little girl, like you said. Like, she doesn't have that outward, like, alpha energy like these other fucking weirdos do.
Well, hey, she got to choose whatever she wanted, so.
True, she fucked up, but whatever. Let's go on.
Is it just me? Or are they trying to kill us?
So after Beatrice and her new bestie Christina follow the rest of the parkour faction out of the moving train onto a fucking rooftop, some dickhead leader, Eric, gives a speech on, if you don't jump off this roof into a hole in another roof, you're going to be factionless. So it makes me curious. Would you jump?
I wouldn't jump. I'd swan dive off because at the end of this thing, I either collapse my whole head and die immediately, or I do survive. And both I'm willing to live with in this reality.
Yeah, I mean,
I hope I die.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Today, Initiate.
So once through the hole in another roof and back on the ground, Beatrice is told by an angry yet hunky instructor named Four that she gets to pick a new name. So she goes with Triss. Could have gone with B, but whatever.
Choices were made.
I don't want to hear about your old factions. You're Dauntless now.
Were you a transfer too? Or Dauntless born?
What makes you think you can talk to me?
Well, that was awkward, but we can't dwell on it because after a speech from Dauntless leadership, it's crowd surfing time?
Oh,
what on earth? I'm so confused. Is this faction fun or not?
It's like authoritarian EDC. Like,
There are 2 stages of training. The first is physical. Push your bodies to the breaking point and you'll master the methods of combat. The second is mental. Again, breaking point.
Okay, so not fun. So this training determines your rank, but also determines if you get cut and then become factionless or not. But
yeah,
you know what that means for us, Blake?
What?
Montage time!
Oh, finally!
Check it out, Stiff. That's gonna be your new family.
So for some reason, people don't like Triss. Maybe it's because of her dumbass name.
Yeah. No.
Sorry. I'll let it go. Mostly because I have to. Because even though Four says these newbies aren't ready, it's fight time, and it's Triss versus some other chick, and Triss gets her entire ass beat, and it's like I said. Not ready.
Fight Club!
I'm never gonna make it.
Yes, you are.
I'm the weakest one here.
So, Triss and Christina decide to forget about the pain from battle in the best way possible.
Drugs?
A tattoo.
Oh.
Tattoos are also painful, but...
Nothing in this movie makes sense, so fine, Dave. This is whatever. Par for the course.
Sure. We're not going to dwell on it because the lady that's tattooing Triss is the one who administered her choosing test. So, I guess this lady is just an administrator.
I feel like there's enough people to have multiple roles here. This doesn't make sense either.
No.
They'll find out about you here.
Who? Who will?
The people you're a threat to.
What people? Who Dauntless?
The whole society.
Administrator of truth, apparently.
She's the Yoda of this movie.
The tattooing Yoda.
The tattoo Yoda.
Well, instead of Triss being worried, she's motivated to make it in Dauntless. And you know what, Blake?
What?
It's montage time again!
I'm over it already.
Oh. In this montage, we see Triss getting better and better at everything over a span of, I don't know, time?
Whatever.
Anyway, Four notices and gives her some one-on-one training, which is sadly not a euphemism.
Oh.
But also, Christina gets some one-on-one training from the dickhead Eric.
Eric, for sure. Even the person who plays Eric beat me up in high school. I'm just saying.
Yeah, absolutely. But maybe this time he'll be nice.
Damn it.
You got 3 options. Hang there and I'll forget your cowardice. Fall and die, or give up. But if you give up, you're out.
Well, I'm not sure nearly killing a newbie is the best way to get them to listen to you and respect you, but here we are.
This is dark. He forces his trainees to literally hang like one of those cats on the poster, those hang in there posters. Gotta hang for your life, and you can either let go and die, give up and become factionless, or just hang in there, and then you keep being able to get abused by other people. I hate this.
Yeah, so do I. But Eric lets Triss and other newbies help Christina up finally after a few minutes, but he leaves them with a lesson, which is never give up or don't fucking trust Eric.
Both are valid.
Yeah. Anyway, after a quick look on the outside of the fence for some reason, we're back to training.
Points for bravery, Stiff. Not as many as you just lost for opening your mouth.
It's knife throwing lessons this time, Blake.
I'm excited for this.
But also bravery lessons? Because Eric makes Triss stand in front of the targets and has 4 throw knives at her face to try and make her flinch. Oh, I see. It's dickhead lessons.
It's lessons from dickheads with tiny dicks.
Yes.
For
dicks.
First fight, Peter versus Triss.
First shot, right to the throat, and you watch it. He steps before he punches.
Well, now wait a minute. 4 is giving Triss advice.
Ooh.
I mean, it's not good advice because she still gets her face stomped in. And because of said face stomping, Eric is like, see, she doesn't have what it takes. I'm kicking her off the island or whatever.
It's trying to survivor so fucking quick.
Hi.
What are you doing here?
I just figured that I had to make it.
Who let you out?
I did.
So, no joke, 30 seconds after a somber goodbye, sorry you got kicked off the island scene with Triss and her friends, she says, fuck it, I'm going to force my way onto the train where the rest of Dauntless are. She's like that coworker who sees you have headphones in and insists on having a conversation with you anyway.
Oh, I hate that. I hate that. I'm not even listening to anything in my headphones. I just want to avoid people.
I'm being clear that I don't want to talk to you, okay? Regardless, though, it's War Games time. And by that, I mean glorified capture the flag.
Oh, I thought you were going to say Matthew Broderick shows up. No. It's a movie reference.
So Triss wins the Capture the Flag War Games for her team, which includes 4 and Christina. And the thing that finally got her to have the brains and courage to win this thing and be worthy? Climbing a ladder. And that sounds like I'm kidding. I'm not. Climbing a ladder is scary every time.
Dude, it's literally, they're jumping through holes and parkouring off of trains, but to win this, you just climb up a ladder.
Climb up a ladder and suddenly you know what you're doing.
Make it make sense.
No.
If you're ranked above the red line, you'll move on to the second stage of training. If you're below it, we'll waste no more time on you.
Anyway, after some celebrating and 4 making it super obvious that he's like, kinda into you, Triss.
Yeah.
We get the rankings reveal from Mekhi Phifer for some reason.
I know.
And Triss makes it. I mean, she's like second to last of the people who make it, so maybe not like a super good reason to celebrate, but you know.
Yeah, what happens if you don't make it? You're factionless?
Yes, you're factionless.
Which means...
homeless.
Tough world, tough world.
People have always been so threatened by divergence. But now Erudite is looking for them everywhere. They're actively seeking them out. Why? Well, what am I?
So later in the day, or the next day, I don't know, her mom shows up out of nowhere and freaks Triss the fuck out by being like, hey, the bad guys are going to get you. They're going to come for you.
Yeah, it freaks me out too, Jesus.
Right. But we don't get to sit with that too long because it's your favorite time of day, drug time!
Drug time!
Hallucination City coming up because apparently Dauntless have to practice hallucinating, or I'm not sure I get it.
Sorry. Next time it'll be a lot easier.
I have to do that again?
Yeah, you have to practice several times before the final, but you're natural.
So because Triss is divergent, the way her mind works means she's really good at hallucinating. Or, she's able to overcome all of the fear-based hallucinations in record time and in ways that no one thinks of.
Yeah.
Which I feel like is a skill that you've learned.
Yes.
Or at the very least, I feel like I'd be the guy that's just stuck in the worst part of the hallucination for like 4 hours.
You can't let them find out about you.
And what if they already know?
Then you're already dead.
A bit on the nose, but whatever.
Yeah.
So Triss gets some advice from the tattoo and test administrator lady, and I'm sensing a theme, which is that no one has good advice to give her.
It's very interesting, this whole dream scenario, because it's more of like a simulation, like in their brains, you know, where she's like in this thing, and instead of like fighting these birds that are attacking her, she's just like, oh, I'm above these birds. And like, you know, like just kind of thinks her way out of it. Whereas like most people have to like get a stick and like start a fire and like punch these birds or something. They have to like use brute force, but she's just kind of like above it. And I think it's an interesting point to this film to kind of showcase visually her differentness.
Yes. And you know how else we can showcase her differentness?
How?
By realizing that everybody else is jealous.
Oh, it's true. That's what my mom always said too.
Yeah, but in this case, they're not lying. We're going to move on.
Come on, get her over.
Well, shit, we almost move on over the edge of a cliff because after a visit to her brother at Erudite, some of her friends try to fucking kill her. Why? I don't know.
This is so wild. They literally come for her and like try to like throw her into a big pit like it's Indiana Jones or something.
And they only don't succeed because 4 just happens to be at the same cliff thing because all the cool kids hang out at cliffs, Blake. You wouldn't know.
I've never even seen a cliff.
You've never even seen a cool kid.
Present company included.
No! My brother said that he thinks Erudite is planning to overthrow abnegation. Do you think they could do that?
Yeah, I do. I think it's possible.
So while all of this weird training and growing and almost being thrown off of a cliff stuff is happening, there's a civil war brewing.
Oh, no.
We'll get to that. Okay. Because first, 4 has to help Triss practice her final test so she can pass for not divergent. AKA, look not as smart. And I do that all the time, but like the opposite.
Look where you're at now, Dave.
We're gonna practice.
In my fair landscape?
No, in mine. We're going together.
Okay, so apparently we're gonna fucking dream share like we're with Leonardo DiCaprio, and 4 is gonna coach Triss on how to outsmart the test, but like in a way a Dauntless would. So basically, don't outsmart it your way, outsmart it our way.
I guess so. I mean, this all makes sense because 4 is pretty dreamy, and their connection is growing, and like, I don't know, I'm trying to be nice.
What is it?
I think it's some kind of cognitive transmitter you inject it like a serum.
Why?
It's supposed to make you more susceptible to suggestion. As many as they have, they could create an army.
So Triss is preparing for her final test by spying on Erudite, who is getting ready for the aforementioned Civil War.
Yeah, so that's what they were talking about in the clip, right? Erudite, like the smart ones or whatever, they have these things that they'll inject and they can just mind control people, right?
Yes,
that's what they're
exactly.
saying. Oh, okay.
That's exactly what we're seeing.
Got it.
And I'm sure this level of stress is going to help Triss pass her mental test, no?
No, yeah. More stress, better scores.
Well, apparently, because Triss passes the test with flying colors and flames and bullets into her family, which are all hallucinations, but still.
This is wild.
Before you leave tonight, I want you all in 4 lines. Everyone gets a tracking device.
So back at the Dauntless compound, Dickhead Eric is instructing everyone to get their tracking device, which is not a tracking device, Blake, but it's those cognitive transmitter things. And now...
didn't see that coming at all.
And now, everyone in Dauntless is basically a mindless drone prepping for that Civil War I keep mentioning.
Yeah.
I mean, aside from 4 and Triss, but that's for sure a surprise.
Oh, we had no idea it's coming. Dude, this movie takes forever to get to any, like, real plot.
Yeah.
This is the plot, and we're, like, an hour and a half into the movie.
Yeah, basically. So, let's not hold it back any longer. Let's get to this action.
Trains a chugging, buddy.
I need to find my parents.
Just keep moving. Where's your house?
That's right. It's finally Civil War time. Well, sorta. Because it's just all the mind-controlled Dauntless drones are just rounding people in Triss's old faction up like they're eggs in a basket or something.
Yeah, straight up.
But Triss and 4 branch off to try and save her parents.
Drop your weapons.
Somebody has to stop you. If we don't, peace will be lost.
It's already been lost. You destroyed it.
They do not succeed, but instead get caught, because God forbid this movie be a normal length.
I know. It goes on forever.
But no, so Janine has to give them some self-righteous bullshit before kidnapping 4 and sending Triss off to die.
Mom, Beatrice. Mom!
So we're not that lucky, Blake, because Triss may not have saved her parents, but sure as shit, her mom pops up to save her.
Yep.
Leave it to moms, I always say.
That's the saying.
So then they make their way through the city to meet up with her dad and brother, but they run into just like a small little hiccup. Triss's mom gets shot, and now she's on her own again, because there wasn't enough drama already, apparently. Anyway, she makes it to the hideout, and then has to lead a 4-person team that includes herself, her dad, brother, and 4's dad into Dauntless.
Yeah, everybody's dad is there.
And you guessed it, she's gonna save the dad, the day.
Where are they controlling it from?
Why would I tell you that? It's not like you're gonna shoot me.
Where are they controlling it from?
Once inside, they get to the final door, and Triss's dad decides to sacrifice himself because, by God, he's not going to let the mom be the only one who gets any glory. Or something, I don't know.
She goes down in a hail of gunfire. I am too, goddammit. I'm the man of this house.
Exactly. He runs out shooting like Billy the Kid while also being shot like Billy the Kid. Triss is able to get into the final room where she sees on a computer screen that all of Abnegation are being lined up to be killed.
Rip.
For it's me. You're in a sim.
He can't hear you.
Before she can save the day, Triss finds 4 hooked up to a machine, and Janine I'm going to give up on that one. Janine comes out to explain her evil plan. Because if she didn't, this movie would have ended sooner, and we can't have that, apparently.
This is the classic, like, I have you in my grips, let me tell you my evil plan moment. And she talks for too fucking long, and guess what happens next?
She loses?
Nope, she wins. Everything's, sorry. Everybody dies and the bad guy wins. You're right, Dave.
Yep.
Good job.
Everything we think of that makes up a person, thoughts, emotions, history, all wiped away by chemistry.
Well, no, what does happen is 4 is being mind controlled, even though we just saw that he couldn't be mind controlled.
Is this like super mind control? They gave him like 4 of these bad boys. They really juiced him up.
Apparently.
Guess so.
Either way, though, the mind controlled 4 kicks Triss's ass, and
It's okay.
oh, fuck off. This movie has the fucking audacity to tell me that love can override literal brain rewiring.
Yep. It's a YA movie.
Anyway, 4 snaps out of it, and now they snap into action, kicking everyone's ass, leading to a final confrontation with Janine.
Fun.
Maybe you're not quite as dauntless as you thought you were.
You're right. I'm Divergent.
Okay.
I'm Divergent.
That's even too much cheese for me, dude. I cannot handle that.
It's a lot.
Oh, the zoom in too.
Oh,
Fuck off.
dude, right? You know the director, after getting that shot, he's like, yes, high five, high five. We got a movie, folks. We got a movie.
That's exactly what happened. And I hate it. So 4 tosses Triss one of those mind control serum injector applicator things.
Yeah.
Which she then injects into Janine, forcing her to turn off all of the other mind control things. And all of the mind control dauntless soldiers snap out of it.
Yeah.
So she saves the day and a lot of lives. But dauntless leadership are still coming for her. So it's time to escape, which doesn't include burning down the whole building, but whatever.
Fine.
4, his father, Triss, and her brother make it out of the complex and on the train to somewhere else?
I don't know.
Where the hell are they going? They're enclosed in a giant fence city.
They're going to Canada.
I don't know. But we close out with some more Triss voiceover as they ride toward the fence, and we roll credits.
Finally.
God damn it,
Movie's
bro.
so long.
Why is it so long?
I have a lot of feelings about this movie. I really, really do.
Yeah.
I really gave it a chance.
I know. And I really liked it when I first saw it, but now looking back, I'm like, what is happening? What are you doing? Why is it... Everything happens so fast.
But also simultaneously so slow. Oh my God.
It is crazy.
Like, I thought that her training for Dauntless was going to be like a bit of a montage, maybe a few scenes here and there. It's half of the movie.
It really is.
And I'm like, we get it. We know where this is going. What are you doing?
Wasting our time.
Wasting
apparently.
our fucking time is exactly right. Oh my God.
Well, let's not waste any more of our time and let's just get to the Thunderdome.
Fine.
Because it's time to fight these out.
Please.
Movie versus movie. Welcome to the Thunderdome. This place fucking rules.
We're back in the Thunderdome, Dave, and
Finally.
I'm realizing I wouldn't even be a good minor character in a YA novel.
No, you would not. You'd be a good character to get killed off that everybody's sad about.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're the martyr.
Obviously, that's not a real life thing.
No.
But, I'll take it in a book. Fine.
Sure. It's the only place you're going to get it.
Fuck. Well, before we watch these movies, Dave, You and I decide on 5 things that we both agree make a good genre movie. In this case, YA movies.
Yeah.
So let's go through them.
Fine.
Number 1, we need a dystopian future.
Damn, everything's fucked up.
Number 2, we need an unlikely teen hero.
Seriously, they're so young.
Number 3, we need a totally reasonable love story.
Do we really have time for this?
No. Number 4, we need a puppet master villain.
My way or the highway is probably their favorite phrase.
And number 5, we need a plot with insane stakes.
Jeez, can we relax just a little?
Almost read that. Number 5, plot with insane snakes.
So we're going to go ahead and hop in, starting off with dystopian future.
Yes.
So the future in Divergent doesn't get much more dystopian. The whole world got into a war that destroyed everything but Chicago. Of all places. Anyway, the city is surrounded by a gigantic fence, most electricity is out, and everyone is separated by factions and insane rules. Not to mention, they never bothered to fix some of the broken shit around the city.
It's not too dissimilar from current day Chicago, but like, you know, we're working on it is what we're saying.
Yes.
The Hunger Games, though, gives us an incredibly dystopian future. In my opinion, at least, the authoritarian nature of Panem divides people into districts and classes, and to discourage another rebellion, they force children to fight to the death for sport and entertainment. It's like, the worst part of this is I don't even know if I can gamble on it, you know? It's literally pitting your country against each other so the 1% of the 1% can comfortably retain the rule. And it sounds scary, but also a little familiar. I'm not sure where, though, from.
I don't know.
Nobody will ever get to the root of that conundrum.
No.
But for our cases, we got to move on to unlikely teen hero.
Yeah.
In the Hunger Games, we have Katniss Everdeen. She's just a regular, poor-ass teenager in the poorest district. Her only education is from the streets, and she's hungry all the time. I relate to this.
Yes.
I know this very deeply within my soul.
Sure.
But to add to the unlikeliness of all of her heroics, she wasn't even chosen for the Hunger Games. She does it to save her sister, and then when she's in the Hunger Games, she refuses to even directly kill others unless it's like an immediate threat to her own life.
Yeah.
And I don't know, I really like her as a character, and she's played, I think, incredibly well by Jennifer Lawrence. I think her
agree with
performance
that.
really adds to that.
Yes, I agree with that. The only thing I will say is that she does already have some skills that make a little sense that she's able to succeed in this arena. However,
I fully agree.
In Divergent, Triss is a meek teenage girl from the peaceful faction of Chicago and has to rise up and become a savior for an entire faction, all because she's literally just neurodivergent.
Is that true, though? Like,
that's literally all it is. They just call it Divergent in the movie, but it's quite literally she just thinks differently than anyone else.
Yeah.
And they base an entire hero's arc because of that. Which is about as unlikely as they come.
Am I a superhero because I'm neurodivergent?
No.
I just have to take pills. But I do have to give it to you. Triss has more of an arc. She's such a weenie when this starts. I was like, she's never going to be able to get through any of this. And then by the end, she's like a total badass, like warrior. And like, yeah, she has a big arc and she learns so many things. So yeah, that's a fair point. Would I say this is believable? I don't know.
It's also not reasonable, so that helps us get into our next point. Totally reasonable love story.
Very reasonable.
Triss and 4 fall in love. Trainer and trainee.
Wow.
Person of power and person without power. It's the classic forbidden love crap that we didn't fucking need at all. Like, we have to save the people. Stop falling in love with the first hunky dude you see, Triss. God.
It doesn't matter. Like, their relationship could literally be a friendship and nothing changes.
God.
You know? Which makes it a bad love story.
It's such a bad love story.
Dude, for sure.
Fuck.
And to be fair, in the Hunger Games, Katniss doesn't fall into that YA novel love story trope very neatly, you know? The story kind of subverts this in a way. She has a love interest back home in the form of some Hemsworth brother, who I don't know his name, but she's forced into a romance with Peeta during the games to save her own life. If that ain't some real shit, I don't fucking know what is. But Peeta, he actually really does love her, and they all just have to go on with this charade for their own self-preservation. It's really awkward, and I think the dynamic of it is pretty compelling, to be honest.
Yeah, I would say it's pretty compelling. I did like the fact that they're using this love just to kind of manipulate people is much more compelling.
Yeah, and it makes it interesting that PETA really does love her and she doesn't. There's just like layers to it, which is impressive for a genre of novel that tends to pander, you know?
Yeah, and that relationship works for the people watching, but the people in charge, definitely not big fans of it.
Yeah, definitely not, which gets us into our villain era, really, the Puppet Master villain. With the Hunger Games, our little seen but ever-present villain pulling the strings is President Snow. As I said before, like, the games are just a way to intimidate the people of Panem and keep them divided, you know?
Yeah.
He fucking hates Katniss because she goes against everything that the tributes usually are, and against all odds is uniting people. He's waiting for these kids to devolve into savages, and like that's his thing. He's trying to break them, you know, and he has to go with this entire thing that Katniss has created to an extent, what with the empathy and stuff, you know, but what happens to Katniss through the entire games is all to serve the whims and beliefs of President Snow. So even though it's not what he anticipated, he can still use this to mold the nation and his presidency.
Yeah, I could see that. I will say, though, however, that in Divergent, Janine is the literal definition of Puppet Master. Yeah. She wants her faction to lead the city so bad that she starts rumors about the faction that does lead the city, and then makes an alliance with the soldier faction, and then mind controls people into doing her bidding. Yeah. She's quite literally being a puppet master.
To be fair, she's not literally being a puppet master. There's no strings attached from her fingers to these people, but I understand your point.
It's puppet masters, Blake. God. She's quite literally a figurative puppet master, Blake.
My bad, Dave. I misunderstood.
God, you just make me out of my mind sometimes.
We're all going a little crazy, Dave. You know, these are like really weigh on us, but I think we can get into our last point, which is plot with insane stakes.
Yes.
The plot and stakes with the Hunger Games is pretty straightforward, I think, at first. Katniss is a tribute in the Hunger Games and has to survive. That's your plot. Her life is the stake.
Yeah.
But as the movie goes on, the stakes seem to widen in scope when we realize Katniss is uniting districts and is becoming a voice of protest against the cruelty of the nation and the president. So, with Katniss surviving and winning the games, it also puts the authoritarian nation and president in the crosshairs of the people, a stake in which everybody is a part of. You know, it just widens out. It blooms like a fucking lotus flower.
It really does. It starts out narrow and it does widen quite a bit. But the stakes in Divergent are pretty fucking insane. Hundreds of lives in a city of only thousands are at stake. And an entire faction of these people in this city are going to be annihilated if Trish doesn't succeed. A civil war, or maybe just like a governmental takeover, is going to happen if she fails.
Yeah.
Everyone's lives will be turned upside down if they aren't killed. So yeah, insane stakes.
I agree. The stakes are high in Divergent, but like I kind of mentioned in your recap, it takes forever to get to those stakes. They start with Triss being Divergent, like, hey, shut the fuck up about this, don't tell anybody.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, the stakes are, I'll be found out and made factionless or whatever, or killed. But that's not like pressing. With the Hunger Games, it's a little more immediate there.
Yeah.
But you're right, they do kind of both bloom in their different ways as the story goes on. So, you know, whatever. What the fuck do I know, Dave? But I don't know. These films are similar in a lot of ways, but also widely different.
And honestly, I think we have debated them enough. I'm ready to pick.
Okay, let's bring it on home to the finish line, Dave. Let's see which YA adaptation is the better one.
Which YA movie is more YA?
I think it's gonna be close. You never know.
No.
My feet are sweating.
Hey, look, we did it. It's the finish line. We're at the finish line. Can I go home yet? Alright.
All right, Blake, we are finally to the finish line.
Finally.
It is time to decide which YA movie has more young adults. No.
Wait. Wait.
Do you want to give your pick first, or should I?
I'd love to give my pick first.
Let's do it.
I came into both of these with an open mind. I'd never seen Divergent, but I also remember The Hunger Games being kind of goofy in my head.
Yeah.
I'm open to what these films have to say and stuff. And I gotta say, Divergent sucked. I really tried to like this movie, and I'm like, get on with it. It just felt like so sloggy, and honestly, a lot of the shots felt really, really cheap. A lot of the CG stuff, it just felt really kind of cheap.
Yeah.
I don't know. I didn't feel like there was a whole lot of stuff to grab on to. It was like, kind of interesting, but I could see like how it was really pandering to young kids.
Yes.
Whereas The Hunger Games, I think, is a good film. It is solidly written. I think it's nuanced. I think it's interesting. It has something to say. I don't think it wastes its time. In Divergent, there's so much like weird world building and stuff. It's so slow.
Yeah.
I think The Hunger Games has those things, but it's all interesting and works its way into the characters and everything. It has this great forward momentum that Divergent just doesn't fucking have.
No.
And I can't get behind it. Do I think The Hunger Games is like a masterpiece or work of art? No, but I think is a solidly executed film that I rather enjoyed. I liked the editing of it too.
Yeah.
I was here for it. So my choice for first prize film is The Hunger Games, unequivocally. That's where I'm putting my flag down. Just saying.
Yeah. I normally put us through a little roller coaster.
Yeah.
About what my choice is, but not today. It's Hunger Games for me too.
It has to be.
It's like I did like Divergent back in the day. This time I didn't hate it. I didn't hate it. I think the second one ends up being better if I remember correctly, but I'm not sure. I will say that while the whole time you're saying this thing is a slog and takes forever, it also at the same time somehow happens too fast.
Yeah, no, you're right. It's like the things that do happen, it's like there's a plot point and then the whole bunch of fucking nothing for like 30 minutes and they're like, oh, we gotta get this next plot point. This happens, boom, next plot point, next thing, next turning point.
It's like all the world building happens and we don't see Triss getting any better for most of the fucking her training scenes, and she just suddenly is. And it's like, what the fuck happened?
And I can see the influence from the Hunger Games on Divergent, and it just does it all bad. Like, it does it all poorly. It's so ham-fisted.
Yeah.
Again, I don't think the Hunger Games is like a fucking masterpiece of cinema necessarily, but it does its job, and it does its job well. And I think people who aren't young children can get on board with the Hunger Games and find it enjoyable.
All that to say, yes, I agree that for first prize films, YA movies, it is the Hunger Games that wins in my opinion as well. So
if you guys disagree with us, comment below and also leave your address so I can send somebody to fight you.
It'll be me.
Behalf.
I'll do it. I don't fight well. And I hurt my shoulder at work the other day, so I won't fight like hard either.
I have osteoporosis, so I'm just staying inside.
Yeah, Blake can stay inside. I'll fight you.
So, yeah. But anyway, let us know what you thought.
Yes, and as always, subscribe on YouTube or on your favorite podcast listening device.
Yeah. If you listen to us on Spotify, as soon as you're done listening to Joe Rogan, you put us on. We're the perfect dessert course. We fit right in.
Palate cleanser.
God, I love Joe Rogan.
Hey, First Prize listeners, thanks for tuning in this week. Thanks for becoming an adult with us. If you enjoyed this episode, if you enjoyed hearing us fight the dystopian system, consider subscribing to our socials. It's at First Prize Pod on all platforms, and that includes Facebook, Twitter, Threads, Instagram. We're on TikTok and YouTube as well. Also, don't forget to check out our website. It's firstprizefilms.com.
Yeah, we do this for free because Dave and I lost the Hunger Games and our ghosts have no need for human currency. But if you'd still like to support us, consider rating and reviewing us on Apple Podcasts.
Yes, anything helps. Join us next episode as we hit the pavement with these road movies.
Yeah, we're talking about True Romance from 1993 versus Wild at Heart from 1990.
Yes, it's going to be truly wild.
And romantic.
Oh, man.
We're all going to die.
See ya.
Bye ya. Blake Hawk died of violent diarrhea on the battlefield. Like a Confederate soldier up in this bitch.
Yep, basically.
That's it. That's the end of the episode.